Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
Greetings all.
What's up, Chris?
Oh, boy.
So this is our third part of our Terminator Dark Fate Everything shows. This is a third one now. We got Chris in here, so go ahead, Chris.
That's why my ears are bleeding. No. Yeah, I mean, so, today was I think it was the first day of Comic-Con. Whether it was the first day or not, front and center today was Terminator Dark Fate. They had their big Hall H presentation, and of course everybody was there, and they were giving interviews, and we got new footage that the description of the footage is online. But along with that, there were some other leaks that came out today, and, it's really just kind of rehashing and confirming what we had already been afraid of with this movie. And I guess we are going to get into spoilers here because we have already been talking about spoilers in the other casts that we did for Terminator Dark Fate. So if you don't want to know, stop watching now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it does look like everything we heard in that plot leak from the test screening and stuff was true. It looks like John Connor gets killed about 5 minutes after the movie begins. Apparently it's a T-800 that kills him, specifically the Arnold, model. Kit walks in there. Apparently it's him and Sarah Connor, John Connor and Sarah Connor at some bar in Mexico. It's apparently shortly after Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and this Terminator walks in and kills him. And that causes a whole shitload of problems in the future. Like, time has been altered, and Skynet is gone. It's been replaced by Legion, and we now can confirm that Legion is a thing. It is the confirmed villain. It is no longer a rumor. There's some audio that another YouTube channel, I'm just going to say it on here, Mr. H, he had an audio file. Definitely go check out that video, because it's very, very telling where they're going with this movie. But anyway, in that audio file, you can hear characters saying Legion. Like, they say Legion multiple times. Specifically saying, like, that's what Legion wants us to think and stuff like that. So we're getting this Legion operating system that is some sort of advanced AI, kind of like Skynet. They're going very heavy-handed with this, like, Christianity Bible references in this movie, because we have Legion, we have the Rev 9, the main character's name is Grace. She's the new leader of the Resistance in the future against Legion. There's a bunch of different references to Christianity in this movie. The Rev 9 being able to split into at least two different Terminator models is kind of like, if you know anything about the Bible, Legion for We Are the Many.
Okay. I was about to say that sounded very familiar.
Yeah. So that whole thing is that it can split into two different Terminators. Basically, this Rev 9 thing is like a T-800 and a T-1000 combined into one Terminator. More so than the TX was.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So being that the future was altered, they don't send anybody back in time to protect Sarah Connor. So, like, there's a paradox.
Allegedly, the answer to that is allegedly they don't know who Sarah Connor is in the future.
Which I predicted that.
Mm-hmm.
I said that if they wiped it, they don't know who she is. So now, but when we get caught up to the future and nobody sends a Terminator to go after Sarah, then they canceled out this future.
Basically.
So now there's going to be two timelines, but they're saying no, there's one timeline.
They're saying this is the main timeline.
But no matter what, the next movie, this is going to be erased because they didn't send anybody back to protect Sarah.
No, not necessarily, because what they're going to do is they're going to say that other stuff doesn't matter anymore, and we're following this Legion storyline.
But Sarah Connor would be erased from existence, this Sarah Connor.
No.
Why? Because they never sent
Sarah Connor existing has nothing to do with Terminators being sent back in time.
No, but she would exist, but not as the warrior we know her to be, because they
right. But you got to remember this. What they're not saying that the old timeline is erased. What they're saying is that all that stuff does happen, even though it doesn't really matter anymore. But it still happens. It's just that's not what carries this into the future anymore.
But in other words, the future is erased, but not the Terminators traveling from the future erased.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it still creates a paradox, though.
It creates a paradox if you're thinking it in like the rules of time travel for other things. In this story, you can manipulate time travel however you want, so there doesn't have to be a paradox. It could just be this is how time works. If we started caring about that now, then Terminator wouldn't exist.
No, I understand it, but I'm just...
The main problem I'm having with this is just me. I'm sure other people will agree, but we spent so much time. Every movie has been like, this is how it is. John Connor is the future. He leads humanity into the future. And now it's like, nah, just kill him. He's done. Like, I just don't, it just feels so wrong to me.
But that's what they pretty much did with the last movie, too. They replaced him with a Terminator, and then they do this.
Somebody who's, I don't know who it is. I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody there, but somebody who's been working on Terminator since Genesis has had some sort of issue with John Connor. They, for some reason, they have some issue with that character. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Cameron. I don't know if it's a writer who's been consulting with Terminator stuff recently. I don't know.
Isn't the whole reason that he did this is because of the Patty Jenkins Twitter war?
I'm assuming that was a strong indication of why he did it, yeah.
I mean, we have the timeline. It started in August 24th, 2017. And it went on for a little while. And then a month later, exactly, James Cameron said, I called up my ex-wife because none of these movies can capture how a women hero really is, and I'm paraphrasing, not the exact words. We need to show them how it's done. He was basically talking about Wonder Woman without saying Wonder Woman. He did this as an ego thing. There was no intention to do this. He basically flat out, almost without saying it word for word, this is the only reason he did it. And he wanted her to be happy with the woman that she is represented. He wiped the whole thing of guys out, just focusing on all women characters to prove a point. And he got Tim Miller, who agreed with his vision, to do it.
Basically.
That's the point. So he doesn't care about his own franchise. He doesn't give a shit. He's just trying to be, oh, my movie made more money than Wonder Woman. See? I told you so. I was right.
I mean, at this point, it's not even going to come close. People, I can't tell you how many people I've seen have already just checked out from this. Like,
didn't they get, to try to make it like to win the side, didn't they get like, who was the host of the panel?
I don't remember, but I know that they announced that the actor who played John Connor from Terminator 2 is going to be in the film.
Yeah, to get killed off.
Probably, yeah. Or he's going to be in like some sort of weird flashback / flash forward.
So he's going to spend the whole budget on de-aging Sarah Connor and John Connor for 5 minutes, and then you got shitty special effects most of the movie compared to what they could actually be. Because I got to tell you, they look like shit compared to.
They look terrible.
They look like shit.
There's a shot where the Rev 9, like the T800 version of the Rev 9, is walking towards the characters, and it just looks like a PlayStation 2 graphic. Like it's so bad.
So okay, you know how we talked about how when there was a Star Wars director that was attached to an upcoming Star Wars movie, that if their personal movie bombed, that Star Wars, like, you know, Lucasfilm would be like, yeah, we're not going to use you, right? And that, like we said, oh, maybe if Rian Johnson's movie Knives Out bombs, he might be done, right? I've said this on the cast, whatever. So if correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. You tell me if I'm right or wrong, okay? And don't hold back. If Terminator Dark Fate bombs, doesn't this put Avatar 3 in jeopardy?
No,
Why?
because James Cameron's not directing this.
But it's James Cameron's thing, though.
Yeah, but he could easily just say, I was a producer, Tim Miller directed it.
But he made it how big a part he was in this movie. Didn't he say, like, oh, you know, didn't he, he's, like, taking credit for a lot of things, like, they called him up, he had to fix the script, he did this.
They could easily say that. He could easily say that. But at the end of the day, if Disney goes to him and says, hey, what happened? He could say it was Tim Miller.
So he's going to do that. He's going to
He's
lie
going to throw somebody under the bus.
Why
he's
not?
He's going to lie to his teeth.
Time in Hollywood. It happens all the time. And
this guy sucks.
And if Disney comes to him and is like, hey, what happened? He can just go look at the box office for Avatar. And then they go, oh, yeah, that's right.
Wow. So he's going to throw the guy under the bus if he has to.
Yeah.
If it sucks, yeah.
All the bullshit that me and him together, he knows exactly what I want. And then if it bombs,
he said he liked Terminator Genesis, and then like a couple of days ago he was like, "Nah, it wasn't that great."
I don't understand. Like, why is he lying? Like, I don't understand.
Because it would be bad form for when a movie like this, like Terminator Genesis, let's say, comes out, for the guy to be like, "Fuck that, it sucks." You say that, and then you don't get to you don't get the chance to fix it. So you kind of
go. So he's got a bullshit about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not just him. It's not just him that has to do it.
Oh, what a great film! Oh my God, it's amazing! Oh my God! Oh my God!
They've done it before.
But I mean, getting back on the point though, like, do I think this movie is going to do any favors to this franchise? No. Unless somehow this movie comes together and it's just underdog hit that nobody expects. Like, you go see it and it's like, wow, that was actually a lot better than I thought. I just don't see it. I don't see it. They've completely taken a left turn on this franchise. And again, we're getting that we're doing this for a new generation. And it's like, that hasn't been working lately.
It's all a lie. They're not. I don't like when they lie. It's not. They didn't do this for anybody. Nobody wants this. So, Chris,
nobody wants.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No. I'm just saying. Nobody wants this movie like this. Like, you tell me you're making another Terminator movie and you have like an interesting thing that stays on the plot, I'd be like, yeah, all right. But when you come out and you're like, oh, we're doing a Terminator movie, but it's completely different from what you want, it's like, well, then why am I going to go see it?
Yeah.
Like,
so if there's one timeline, they could always fix it, can't they?
You can do anything you want. The problem is that look whose hands this is in now. Do you think they're going to? I don't.
If this completely bombs?
Let me tell you something. If this tanks, we are not going to see another Terminator movie for the next 10 years.
But he's not going to have an ego like, I'm pissed at this bomb.
Yeah, we'll try to. No, it doesn't work that way.
He's not going to do another one himself. He's not going to do another one himself because he has an ego.
No, because he's doing Avatar. I'm telling you, this is like an aside for him. This is not something that he's.
This movie here is just to cover him until he gets started with Avatar. That's pretty much what it is.
But the only reason he did it was to try to prove a point with her, the Wonder Woman director.
Well, that's what he's doing. That's why the three main characters are Sarah Connor, Mackenzie Davis, and this new Grace.
But the funny thing is, the women of the Me Too movement don't even know that that's why he did it. He's tricking everybody. It's the male ego he's doing this for, not like the female Me Too. And I was joking around with Scott. We should call it him too, because it is all about him. So he screws this movie up. This movie bombs, let's say, hypothetically speaking. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a strong enough ego to say, screw it, I'm doing it now myself, regardless of Avatar.
He could do that, but I just don't think he's going to have the time to do it, because if he really wants to make 5 Avatar films.
Oh God.
There's no way that he takes time off to go do Terminator.
Listen, when you have an ego and you are pissed about something, he'll do stuff to extend his life expectancy 20 years just to do not Terminator.
But I'm telling
you right now.
But this is my thing, though. By that time, Avatar 2 will be out. And if that does wildly well, do you think he's going to stop and be like, I got to go do Terminator now?
Yes.
No, he's not going to.
He's gonna get one done.
Either he's not going to, or Disney's going to be like, you better not.
All right, let's. I have a question now. Disney owns Avatar.
Yes.
Do they own Terminator?
I have no idea. I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably not.
So he strictly owns Terminator.
I don't know who owns Terminator.
He owns it. He got the rights back.
Well, let me tell you something. If Disney has any hand in Terminator now because of everything that went down with Fox, and if this one completely blows, that's it. They'll put that shit in the vault, and you'll never get it back.
They don't own this. There's no way they own. There's no way they own this. It's not part of the company that does have it. This is his own personal shit.
Right. I don't think they do. I'm just saying if by some miracle they had a hand in it somehow.
He could sell it to them.
He could sell it to them.
And then they'll fix it.
Well,
if they buy it, they're gonna fix it.
I don't want to see a Disney-made Terminator film. I'll just put that out there. Like,
you know,
I'll put it to you this way. I'll use terms that you'll understand. Okay. Do you want to see like a Terminator: The Last Jedi movie?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
no. I would still fix it if it was up to me.
Oh, I would fix it too. It's very easy to fix.
Yeah, it is.
It's very easy.
But you don't think it needs to be fixed, Last Jedi? I thought.
No, I'm talking about Terminator.
Terminator.
Oh, okay.
Terminator is a very easy fix.
Go back in time, Shane.
Right, or just don't do anything stupid. Like okay, you want to start off from Terminator 2? Great. Continue the fucking story that you had going. Like,
here's the thing, right? I mean, there was a whole rack of Terminators going into the time form. There wasn't just one. There was like fucking a whole goddamn crate rack of Arnolds.
Yeah, but that was in Genesis, though.
All right, but like, I mean, these backup plans, man. They probably put them in every year.
But the thing is, though, that the way that they described it in Terminator, they made it sound like this was like the last effort that Skynet had.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have time to be like, I'm going to do this and then this. The way Kyle Reese explained it, he said, we won. We beat Skynet. It did this as a last-ditch effort to try and win. That was it.
But this is what I don't understand then. How do these this Legion, right?
Yeah.
How do they resemble the Terminators if they have no memory of the Terminators?
The only thing I can think of, it's one of two things. Either Legion, actually I should say one of three things. Either Legion has some sort of access to what Skynet was doing, which doesn't make any sense. Legion is actually Skynet in disguise, quote unquote, right. And it's really just fucking Skynet, which is actually the thing I think they're going to do.
Sort of like an alternate personality or an alternate program.
Or Legion and Skynet just like the same aesthetic. And that's it. Like, for some reason. They've come to the conclusion that this design of Terminators is the most efficient, optimized design for an assassination machine.
Like, I knew I was right. They weren't going to know who she is. I knew it. I called that shit.
Well, they said it in the trailer, too. Mackenzie Davis's character's like, who are you? And it's like, yeah. Well, it's like everybody in the Resistance knew who Sarah Connor was back then. Now they don't because
it's all wiped.
Yeah.
The whole future is wiped.
Yeah.
But she's not supposed to make it to the future. She dies before that even, like, unless, like, she's dead.
Yeah, she's supposed to be dead, yeah. I think she's going to die in this movie, to be honest with you.
She has to. How old is she?
She's got to be in her, like, 50s or 60s.
No, she's not in her 50s.
Maybe more.
She's, like, older. But, again, like, in the Terminator timeline, when he sends Reese back, right?
Yeah.
She's dead already.
Yeah.
So she never makes it to that point.
No.
She'd be like 100 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
She's 62.
No, but I'm saying, like, whatever year that took place in, right? She's dead already.
Yeah.
In fact, the way they made it from Terminator 1, she wasn't a goddamn fucking killing machine fighter. She just had the kid and kept him safe.
She became that after she experienced what happened in Terminator 1.
Right, like, she kept him safe and whatever, and then he, you know, this is what you got to do, and then all of a sudden it changed, and she's friggin' Superwoman.
Right.
And it's like, well, how many times the timeline's going to change? So my whole point is, because I'm a time travel nut, right? If that future does not exist where John Connor's there to send Reese back, Reese is in the future, right? Maybe. But nobody goes back, so they basically erase the whole purpose of the Terminator traveling there to begin with.
Basically.
So this shouldn't exist. Like, this timeline is an anomaly.
It's a totally separate timeline from anything that we've seen. Because
it has to be this ain't one timeline. The whole thing is that this is a paradox. Because when the future catches up, it's going to create another timeline in the past because you're linking yourself now to the past. So if they don't know who Sarah is, nobody's sending any Terminators after her. So it's like a loop where there's going to be a new timeline every damn week. Like, it's just going to be like Sarah saves the girl to lead the resistance. They get up to that point. Reese doesn't travel back in time. John Connor doesn't exist. Terminators don't send them back to kill Sarah. So then the timeline in the past completely changes. And it's just, again, it's a never-ending, like, paradox. I mean, at some point in time, there would have to be some type of, because the timeline's going to get so wrecked, there's going to have to be some type of time storm or some type of thing that the whole thing is going to blow up. Like, it's just not, you can't keep changing.
Well, again, I mean, that's the rules that, like, we're implementing in it. But anybody who's writing this can be like, no, it's fine. Because time travel is not something that we've actually done, it's only theoretical, you can do whatever you want with it. There are no... It's not like the physics of gravity or something. Like, you can look at gravity and be like, well, that wouldn't happen. But with time travel, it's like, sure, you know? Like, it really just depends on who's writing it and the rules of time travel. But we're in a timeline now that takes place after Terminator 2 Judgment Day, where Reese was already sent back, John Connor was already born, he's now dead.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is that the future is completely different where Reese goes back. In that timeline, he doesn't go back. So that creates a new timeline.
It's a new timeline post-Terminator 2.
Yeah, but I'm talking the loop-wise, where the future where Legion exists and let's just call it Resistance 2 exists, right? With Leader 2 being the female Grace, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't send Reese back. So because nobody's sent back, the timeline's going to change again.
If they wanted to.
I mean, I don't know. You know what? You're right. They could just freaking change whatever they want to change. But
don't get me wrong. I agree with what you're saying. I'm not trying to argue with what you're saying. I'm just saying that at this point, if this is the road that they're going to take, they are going to make every possible alteration that they have to keep this going the way they want it to.
Well, here's the thing that I don't understand why they go in these directions, right? All right, say we have knowledge of all these movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't the quest of Sarah be to find out who invents time travel and prevent the time machine from being created, period?
Skynet invented time travel.
But, like, basically find out before they invent the time machine to prevent them from inventing the time machine?
How do you do that, though?
How do you prevent the Terminators from existing? I don't know. I mean, it's like...
If you were going to stop time travel, you would have to stop Skynet. They did that, and now Legion showed us. So you know what this is? Basically, like
so you shouldn't be able to travel through time, then?
No, because Legion is probably going to invent time travel in the future.
So you could just invent time travel. Everybody's just going to invent time travel. This guy doesn't do it, this guy does.
Because what they're saying is that the AI becomes so intelligent that it figures out a way to do this. What they're trying to say is that no matter what happens, there's going to be an AI that develops, that wipes out most of humanity, tries to take over the planet, humans resist, and...
But how could that happen if they already prevented it and the government already knows about it?
The government doesn't know about it.
How could they not know what all the explosions going on with these different movies like that? This is what's going on.
They didn't know what happened in the first Terminator. They thought it was just some nut that went into a police station and killed everybody.
Right.
But the thing is, the government doesn't know about Skynet because how would they know? All they know is that we found these things. We started reverse engineering them. We don't know where they came from.
Are you talking to people online right now?
And then they friggin' did what they did with Cyberdyne. They started making Skynet. They stopped. Miles Dyson and them stopped doing it, so they thought, hey, that's it, it's done. And then all of a sudden, Legion. Like I was going to say before, do you know what this is all a roundabout thing? Basically, this is a fancy way of trying to say it's the friggin' thing from Terminator 3, where it's like, Judgment Day is inevitable. It's going to happen anyway. This one's just saying, Judgment Day is inevitable. It's going to happen in one form or another, whether you have Judgment Day by Skynet or Judgment Day by Legion.
Something's going to take the vacuum.
We don't even know how Legion takes over the planet, because we knew how Skynet did it. They said it took over the United States' defense systems and launched all of our nukes at Russia, and then Russia retaliated.
Right.
We have no idea what Legion did. Legion could be a friggin' Russian version that does the exact opposite. We have no idea. Like, it might have even destroyed the world. We don't even know.
So here's the one constant you're saying is true, right? The one constant you're saying is true is that even though the timeline has changed, the people that travel through time, the Terminators and the Resistance, whatever the timeline is when they arrive, they're still, like, that never changes. Like, they'll arrive when they have to arrive, right? So the timeline wraps around them, right?
Yeah.
So if that's true, then technically, just humor me for a minute, okay? In Genesis, when a young Sarah Connor and a young Reese, who are not romantically really involved, right, travel into the future, right? Like, what, 5 years into the future? Or whatever, right? Technically, shouldn't they show up in this timeline? Because the whole future wrapped around them. They're just traveling.
Yes, but here's the thing. The writers don't want them there.
But they would show up with Sarah Connor.
Yes, they would, but you got to remember, though, the writers don't want that movie anymore, so they're completely aborting that. They're saying that didn't happen, Salvation didn't happen, Terminator 3 didn't happen. In their minds, no matter what kind of time travel you do, none of that happened because they don't like those movies.
So now the only way to fix that is to do a Terminator movie where they go back in time to the bar and kill the Terminator that kills John Connor.
I guess.
And you have a whole...
I don't know what that would do. Like, I don't know.
You have a whole CGI movie where Sarah is younger, the whole movie with Edward Furlong, and just take it from there. That's the only way you could fix it.
I want to know why. I mean, I think we know why, but
Patty Jenkins. That's what.
Oh no, not that. No.
So basically, somebody should go back in time, make certain Patty Jenkins doesn't make Wonder Woman, so Cameron doesn't get an ego. Is that it?
I'll do it. No. No, but what I was going to say is basically the only things that we know, what they're trying to say is that at some point in human history, there's going to be an AI that takes over, pushes us to the brink of extinction. We have to fight back. That's the story of Terminator in a nutshell, no matter what. Basically, what I think they're trying to say, which is really kind of odd because now you start thinking about it, and it's like, so this is never going to end. So let's say they beat Legion, right?
Yeah.
Well, then another one will show up. It'll be like
Something's got to take the vacuum.
Alpha Tech or something like that.
Yeah.
They'll beat that one. And then another one will show up. And it's like...
Chris, here's the thing, right? Long after I'm gone, there's going to be a Terminator fucking 17, 18.
Oh, yeah, of course.
There's going to be generations. People are going to watch Jason Voorhees killing people in Crystal Lake. This stuff will never end. And why would make it end if you can make money from it forever? It will never end. Especially with time travel involved. Especially how the technology gets better, where you can do a whole movie where Sarah Connor could be young like that, and all you need is a voice.
Yep.
Like,
well,
you won't need to do anything.
You're right. My thing is just this: is that you can do whatever you want with Terminator. That I have no issue with that. The issue that I have is when you start doing all these like ancillary things with it. End the main story first. Then start doing things that are out there. Then
what do you mean end the main story? So you're saying that they defeated the Terminator in the future. John Connor defeated them.
Yes.
Now they got to rebuild society, and something happens where in the future you're saying do a movie in the future?
No. I'm saying make the damn series or make the movie where we see the Resistance win, and then it ends with Skynet sending...
So you're saying a future prequel.
800 back to the first Terminator movie.
You're saying a future prequel or some shit, whatever.
Technically, I think the way you're saying it is right, because it would be in the future, but it would technically be a prequel to the first Terminator. You know, in a roundabout way, it's like a sequel/prequel, like you're saying.
Right.
End that story, and then if you want to do all these like, what if this happened? Have at it. But we never got an ending. We never got an ending to this story, and it's like. And now they're saying it's just never going to end, because you could say, well, the ending to that story was Terminator 2 because they prevented Skynet from being made. But in doing so, they made Legion. So it's like, what do you do? Like, you just can't stop it. It's never going to end.
There's got to be a way. Well, see, the thing is, do they want it to end? Probably not.
No.
And does it end up becoming a grandfather effect?
But here's my thing, though, right? Now you watch Terminator 2, and because they said this is connected to that movie, basically everything they do in Terminator 2 is a complete waste.
Yes.
They, honestly, and this is going to be weird to say, the best thing they could have done was let Skynet get made. Because they know that they beat Skynet in the future. Now you got fucking Legion, and we have no idea what the hell this thing's going to do.
I thought the Terminator from Genesis was ridiculous, that you can beat it, basically.
Right.
That was impossible.
The Terminators and stuff, like...
So, one timeline exists. Everything else doesn't exist. They're not going to do anything where they're going to fake John Connor's death, right? He's definitely dead, right? He's not coming back in the end.
The only thing I can think of, if they really wanted to go nuts, right, is if, like, there's the young John Connor at the beginning, he gets killed, and then by, like, at the end of the movie, it's like a John Connor from another timeline shows up, and he's like, you fucked up, I'm here to help, or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Unless the John Connor that died was a Terminator put in there to replace him from being killed.
That sounds like the original ending to Salvation. Did you ever hear what the original ending to Terminator?
I saw. Oh no, I didn't see the original. No.
Oh, so the original ending to Terminator Salvation was John Connor gets killed by the first T-800 that Skynet ever builds.
Yeah.
Marcus Wright destroys the T-800. They
Okay.
get John Connor's body, and he goes, "I have an idea."
He puts the skin over it.
It was a T-700, right? He was like, "I have an idea. Take off his skin and put it on me. I'll be John Connor."
That's terrible. That would have been
And
terrible.
like, I'll pretend to be John Connor. And I was like, "Oh, holy shit!"
That would have been a terrible
Damn,
idea.
face off.
Terrible idea. I don't like it that John Connor was a villain in the friggin' last one.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, somebody working on these movies that hates the John Connor character.
I just want to find out who it is. I want to fucking smack the fucking person.
I'm telling you, when I saw that in Genesis, that's when I knew. I was like, "Oh, they've just."
Not really
they're-
a smack, but still. Yeah.
I was like, "They're done. They have finished." I knew there was. I don't remember what video it was, but there was a guy, huge Terminator fan. It was on YouTube. He was doing an interview with these other guys, and he was like, "I have the script for Terminator Genesis." He goes, "I know who the villain is," and he said, "Everybody who's a Terminator fan is in major trouble right now." And I was like, "Oh gosh, what is it?" I was like, "Oh, is it aliens? Like, are aliens gonna invade or something?" And then when they were like, "It's John Connor," I was like, "Oh, the aliens would have been better." Like,
And then we have the Terminator 3 that says he does die, and his kids take over, and his wife takes over the resistance.
yeah.
Remember that? Give me a headache with this stuff.
Yeah.
Tired of it. I'm going to need a Terminator break for like 5 years, 10 years after this one.
Or they do something where the John Connor that we're seeing is not the real, like you said, it's
That's
not
what
the
I
real
said.
John Connor, but he's not a Terminator at the same time.
But,
All right.
but, how would that work though?
I know.
Like.
I will create another cast. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye for now.